like you bite into them frozen.
Like, like in the thawing process. It just tastes better. Because you get a little crunch. What?
Just get crunchy peanut butter.
Crunchy peanut butter is fucking
Why
good.
do you like eating ice chips?
Actually, I've never had ice chips before. But these are just too mushy, Like I want a little What? I mean, it's still good. How do you think they make these little crusties things? It's not a fork. Oh, these are factory made. I can smell the factory. Well, fuck, we're recording, aren't we? Why do you do this to me? Oh, I'll probably have. I just don't,
And
know.
Rachel Ray Nutrish.
Rachel who?
Rachel Ray Nutrish.
What is that?
Rachel Ray stuff. I don't know.
Is that like a singer?
The JM Smucker Company.
Yo, that's crazy. Smuckers is its own thing.
Yeah. Dunkin'.
No, that's not true.
C brands.
All right, so we're looking up brands because we just had Smuckers.
If you guys saw the intro, we just ate the Uncrustables. Hold on, real quick. Welcome to Nerd Locker Podcast, your entertainment podcast for everything movies, television, video games, and apparently random peanut butter companies. My name's Adam.
I'm Oliver. We just ate Smuckers.
For anyone else out there that hasn't heard about this, Smuckers, the brand, owns these other brands.
Wait, Smuckers owns it, or like a bigger company owns Smuckers?
No, Smuckers.
Smuckers is like legit its own
JM
thing.
Smucker Company.
That's correct. Also, crazy last name. That's someone's name, Smuckers.
Folgers, Jif, Milkbone,
All of them?
Smuckers Uncrustables.
Isn't Milkbone like for dogs?
Yep. Cafe Bustelo, Rachel Ray Nutrish, and apparently when you go to the jmsmuckerco.com, our coffee brands are Folgers, Dunkin', and Cafe Bustelo.
I don't understand. How do they own so much? Isn't that like illegal?
Nope.
Isn't that like a thing?
Brand you love. Hold on. Let's see.
I feel like you're on the wrong website.
Nope.
Let me see.
I'm here. Uncrustables, Dunkin', Jif, Cafe Bustelo, Robin Hood, Meow Mix, Pepperoni, Milkbone, Folgers.
How the fuck does coffee go into... What are you talking about?
Yep.
You're going to give me a headache.
So anyways, talking about the stuff we were going to talk about.
Dude, Smuckers is nuts.
We'll talk about monopolies another day.
Talk about that other thing. The fucking the banana and the bullshit.
Oh, there's a peanut butter and jelly banana hot dog.
What?
So on a hot dog bun, you put a banana and you put peanut butter and jelly in it, which apparently the prep time is 10 minutes. Why the fuck does it take someone
growing
10
your own bananas?
What are you
peeling it really slow? Why'd I say it like that?
Well, anyways,
I said it as you were peeling it. Peeling it.
really slow like. Okay, so you hit that at least every other episode.
I know. And I always jump.
You always jump. We're going to talk about a couple things, small little news things, and we'll probably go back to the Smuckers conversation. But just to cover, we have a couple of things that have come out for Deadpool 3.
Oh, yeah.
The first thing was Marvel confirming that Chris Evans will be back as playing the Human Torch from the Fox movies, as well as the rest of the cast should be included in that. It's probably going to be one of the smallest cameos.
Probably.
Where you just blink and you miss it kind of moments. But
So just don't blink during the movie?
I don't think a lot of people are going to. It's Deadpool 3.
I sniffed a lot of something.
Like, Wolverine's in it. So this makes a lot of sense based on a huge plot leak that came out.
I think you mean Hugh.
Hugh plot leak. And with this, we are... So are you ready for this? Are you ready for what was leaked? Because this is what we did with No Way Home. And 25 or 30% of that was correct. Like, they did predict that Green Goblin was going to come back. They did predict that big battle. They had a lot of other deaths that didn't happen, but a lot of it was correct. So if I tell you these leaks, it might technically be spoiling this movie 10 months before it comes out.
I'm going to forget about it anyway. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So this movie is apparently taking place. We know that we have the TVA involved. We know we have Miss Minutes. And the reason for this is because we're going to get a sort of House of M storyline. So Wanda might be in this. We might get our Scarlet Witch. Okay. And essentially, when she died at the end of Multiverse of Madness, her consciousness went into the 838 body of that Wanda that she was in previously. So remember, she was inside of that Wanda's body and killed all the Illuminati? She goes back into that body. So now she goes to 838. And in that moment, she finds out that that version of her is this daughter of Magneto. And she essentially changes reality to go back in some way, shape, and form. This is what I've read. I don't know where the logistics of the whole, how they get there is. But you go back to the Battle of New York in the first X-Men movie when they're on the Statue of Liberty, when Magneto is trying to create more mutants.
Yeah.
And then he wins in this universe.
Cool.
So now it's majority mutants, and this is the timeline that Deadpool shows up at to grab a Wolverine out of.
Who plays Magneto?
Ian McKellen. We already know these people are coming back.
Oh my God.
This is legit going to be... This is confirms a lot of the rumors of James Marsden coming back, Halle Berry. Like, they probably are coming back because they're going to take place right at that moment on Statue of Liberty. Deadpool gets there later in the timeline when it's already happened and there's a majority of mutants. And House of M...
What?
What are you looking at?
Your hair.
What about it?
Nothing. It's just there was a part like sticking out, but you got it.
Okay. So they've all like joined Magneto's side. They're a community of mutants, and that's the Wolverine we get in the comic accurate costume. They all should be more comic accurate when we see them in further down that hot timeline, and that Wolverine and Deadpool go back to stop her from doing this.
Interesting. Okay. So
they probably have to jump multiverses, because I'm assuming that maybe she will probably be jumping from, or if she can move her consciousness to each Wanda, she might start like hopping around, because that was what her point was to do anyway, was to find her kids.
That's kind of cool.
So now she's probably mastered it and hops around. They got to follow her, and
wouldn't like Doctor Strange then make... Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't Doctor Strange make like an appearance then in terms of like, multiverse traveling?
Well, this is where I'm getting to. So they do all this stuff, and they eventually like, it's basically Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe. So he's probably going to go around and kill in this timeline all of the Fox characters.
But what's his reasoning for it? Like, why?
Because it's probably an evil world in this House of M. It's probably not a good thing that all the mutants are around. It's probably more dictatorish.
Okay.
And Wolverine's probably one of the only people that either remembers about another timeline, because that's the point of him.
Because he did travel in time, technically, yeah.
So he might remember the other timeline, and or he just doesn't fully agree, never has. So we get all this, and it's supposed to end with Deadpool and Wolverine coming into the MCU with X-23, actually.
Oh.
Because I think that way they can give Hugh Jackman another round in Secret Wars that he's probably going to be in, and then bow out then, and probably get killed in that.
Finally.
Yeah. Like finito, and then give it to X-23, and we still have a Wolverine character.
Does that mean like Logan isn't canon anymore?
It is. It's just on an alternate timeline.
I see. Okay.
So
they're really pulling out all the stops. Okay.
Yeah. So it's so much easier to just explain it that way. Like what happened to Logan happened. They're not retconning that. Like in that timeline, that's what happened.
Right. Yeah. He's just dead.
Yeah.
And they can continue the girl.
Yeah.
In their own thing.
So my theory, because it doesn't really get into any more detail than that, I'm thinking this. Let's say that's all true. How would Wolverine and Deadpool get into the MCU in a very cool fashion? You're on the let's say they have to go back in time. Like the way for them to stop it all is they got to go back and stop Magneto from winning again. They get there, and this causes an incursion, which breaks open the sky. And on the other side, they end up seeing exactly what happened with Doctor Strange at the end of No Way Home, when he was trying to bring this guy back.
Right, yeah.
So now you're seeing it from the other perspective, and Wolverine and Deadpool see this happening, and they jump into our multiverse through that crack before it gets sealed off.
That'd be kind of cool.
Which means that they've been around for a little bit in the background, and TVA may have just grabbed them again.
Right.
So, which makes me wonder, are we going to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in Loki season 2, since that would be leading up to it? Because remember, we have Loki coming out next, we have Marvels, we have Echo, and then we have Deadpool. So Loki should connect to Deadpool if it's that close together.
I don't know, because like paying for Hugh and Ryan Reynolds.
I said and or. They could just probably get one.
Still a lot of
and
money.
they don't have to get them. They can always show claws of like someone that's in
Oh,
a
just
thing,
so like a
or
stunt or
they
something.
can get Ryan Reynolds to like, give his voice.
Does that count
Hey,
as
like
a cameo?
they don't need to have him. Yeah, I mean they probably only have to pay him half the price to just get his voice and put someone else in the costume.
But if they just show like claws, would that be like
No, claws they could do whatever.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
Either that or
don't
getting
think-
like some
I
kind
don't
of
think
like,
it's gonna happen.
or maybe even Mobius or Miss Minutes like getting at the end an alert like we got someone like we have someone that's breaching and then we just see like a picture of him on like a hologram.
That is probably more plausible.
Yeah. Regardless, I think it's going to link up. There, whatever the storyline is, goes right to the other.
Loki's in October.
Yeah.
Right. Damn. God damn it. Is that like?
Which would end around November, which would give it a 6-month break between.
And that's like a
filming that show.
weekly thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Fucking.
I think they dropped the first 2 episodes last time, and then they went one each.
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing that again.
No, I doubt it because I mean, based off the previous.
Echo
shows.
is going to be all the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's the end of the
shit.
year, so there's no point with the holidays and
Ah.
stuff coming up.
They're
Would,
just gonna-
would weekly viewership really work when people are traveling? No.
True.
You're better off dropping it a
Having
couple days
someone
after
binge it.
Thanksgiving when people are like in for the time being before they start traveling,
That makes sense.
or watch it while traveling, like something that you can watch in the car, on the plane, blah blah blah, like stuff that you don't have to wait for.
They're not idiots. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
no,
lie.
because no one's gonna watch it into the beginning of the new year. Like
Right.
it won't work out.
Huh.
So there's that. Another thing is we've talked about it so many times, and man, the Flash is not doing good.
Flash is not doing good.
It got taken out of over 1,500 theaters.
Do we know why? Is it because of like Ezra or
They're losing more money. The longer it stays, the amount of money it takes to keep it in theaters is less
really?
than it is more than it would be just to bring it to streaming,
Still-
which is about to be in streaming,
Bullet.
I think, in 2 weeks.
Holy shit!
It'll be on HBO.
It'll be on HBO.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what.
Yeah.
Thank you for BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you can just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to a therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. With BetterHelp, you can get to the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you. Any scheduling flexibility and at a more affordable price. Just get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/nerdlocker. The link is going to be right down below in the description. What did we give it? Do you remember?
I gave it a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah, I think I did the same.
Because I minused him out of it.
Every time someone asks me about The Flash, I just say Michael Keaton carried.
That
was it.
I always say, like, it would have been a much better movie. The visual effects are just better. And they've come out and said, like, if it looks like it was done in a week, because it was. Like, they openly said it was not done well.
And we got to do Aquaman 2, right? That's
And
coming
Blue
up.
Beetle. This is going to be a year. Like, this is going to be flop, I think, for DC, because it's like this one, Blue Beetle's not going to last. I don't think.
No,
after the
I don't even know who that is.
Well, even then, even when you didn't, you were more hyped for it because of the Flash. Because the Flash was supposed to reset everything, and this was supposed to be the start of everything. But the Flash, I don't see. In my opinion, I don't see how the Flash reset anything. Because you're not dealing with anyone. Like, if you're saying, like, okay, all of these characters no matter what you think of them, they're done.
Yeah,
If
it doesn't
the
matter.
actor comes back, they're not at all in any way, shape, and form playing the same character. So, like, if Gal Gadot comes back, she's a completely different Wonder Woman, a completely different backstory, just ends up being the same actor. That I'll agree with more, but you don't explain that to us. You kind of, like, shut it off. You're saying George Clooney's not going to be Batman. So it's like, okay, that means that the Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash, went to a reality that we'll never see again.
Right.
He's going to live there for the rest of his life. He'll have George Clooney as his Batman, but we will never see a continuation of that timeline.
Right.
What we go forward with is a completely different timeline.
Kind of weird.
Which I understand how that bookends Snyderverse, but you could have given us a more satisfying, not a satisfying close, a more concrete, like, in-your-face close. It was so left open, and no one really knew that.
Do you think...
So
like, maybe people are... Do you think maybe people are, like, a bigger fan of, like, the Batman Beyond type thing?
I mean, Batman Beyond was supposed to be a thing before this whole thing went to shit, and apparently that was the plan, to have Michael Keaton play in a Batman Beyond movie, which would have been cool, but I don't know what I would want from DC. DC has been really fucking it up because I love DC comics. Like, as a property, I love DC over Marvel.
Yeah, they're good, but, like, why can't they sell the movie? Like, what's...
Because they're too afraid to do anything. They're too afraid to go hard. And the thing is I just recently, it's funny, the last couple of days, I've been watching the more recent animated movies. Mm-hmm. And they're called the Tomorrowverse. And this is animated movies that restarted after Justice League Paradox Apocalypse War, where they ended that continuity and went on to this one, which it wasn't a hard reset. It wasn't like anything happened in the movie that, like, the last time with Flashpoint that led us to the new that.
Flashpoint was great.
Well, what Flashpoint led us to, that just recently ended with Apocalypse War. So now we're on a new timeline, kind of, with new characters, and I like the animation a lot better. It's seamless throughout all of these movies, too, which is great. Like, they're not different animation. They're all the same animation. Just like in Long Halloween that we watch is part of it.
Yeah, Long Halloween.
So it goes Superman, Man of Tomorrow. It goes Justice League, World War II. Then it goes to Long Halloween, Green Lantern, Beware My Power, and then Justice Society of America. I haven't seen Justice Society yet. But the first one...
And these are movies, right?
Yeah, animated movies that are... fucking
the
phenomenal.
DC movies are so good.
They're so good. If you adapt that to live action, that's how you get your fucking money makers.
What are they doing?
They're too afraid to do it.
Ugh.
I don't know what kind of demographic they're going for, but they're not going for the right ones. But Man of Tomorrow with Superman, holy shit, was that crazy. Like, has Lobo in it and everything, which honestly, seeing this version of Lobo, I'm like, oh, Jason Momoa could do that in a heartbeat. But, like, they go full into this stuff, and it goes into such a different political format of where it's like the premise, Superman is fighting at first he starts to fight Lobo, but then he needs to fight this alien creature, but this alien creature was actually a human that was turned into, like, this weird looking creature that people keep calling an alien. And it's Superman's journey to deal with the issues of humanity turning against an alien when they don't know he is yet, because they just see him as Superman. They don't know that he's from a different planet. Like, they don't know this yet. So, because he looks human.
Right.
So they're looking at this alien and shunning it and all that stuff, and this is what Superman has to deal with, is how humanity turns on
an alien.
And does he admit it to everyone? Does he do this? Because this is technically not even an alien they're talking about. They're talking about another human. They don't even know it. So it's like just seeing this and that battle, so cool.
That's kind of cool.
You know, and then you have Justice League World War II, which is kind of like not an origin story for the Flash, but we pick up with the Flash has been doing it for a while and has known Superman for a while, because I don't know how much time passes between these movies, but it seems like at least maybe a year or two. Mm-hmm. So they've been working together, and this is how it's kind of like what we saw in the Flash movie, where he starts to learn phasing and all this other stuff. Like, but what happens to him is he's fighting someone with Superman or Brainiac. Brainiac shoots a kryptonite bullet at Superman. The Flash goes to stop it, runs so fast he ends up shooting himself into what he believes is the past, because he sees Nazis and everything, and starts meeting like Wonder Woman and the Justice Society, and he's like, okay, like, I'm in the past, blah blah blah, like, I gotta get back to my time. And then all of a sudden he sees someone that looks just like Clark Kent, and he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm working, like, I'm undercover as a Nazi agent, but like, I'm for America.
Kind of cool.
And he was just like, but how are you here? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, are you Clark Kent? He's like, yeah, I'm Clark Kent. And then he has a completely different backstory than the Clark Kent he knows, and he realizes he didn't go in the past. He went to another Earth.
Cool.
In the past.
What movie is this?
Justice League World War II.
Holy shit.
And they have to fight like Nazis and shit like that. It's fucking crazy, dude.
This is all on HBO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Long Halloween.
Yeah, Long
we
Halloween,
saw.
part 1 and 2. Those were good.
And then Green Lantern Beware My Power, also a fucking crazy one. It
why?
takes place with Jon
it's
Stewart.
so easy. Like just
Jon
fucking,
Stewart, Green Arrow, and Hawkgirl are in that. It's crazy good.
It's so easy. Like, can DC just stop fucking up in live action for once? Like, Jesus Christ.
You know what's funny? And in that movie with Green Lantern, the guy that plays the Green Arrow, like the voice, is the one that played William in Westworld, young William.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's just, dude, I want to say so many things, but I don't want to really spoil it for you or the people of the Green Lantern movie. But like the way, like in the climax of it all, I was like, yo, this is not what I expected, like at all.
I don't know.
Such a solid fucking movie.
The animated ones are so good. I can't get over it.
All right, so I think
What else we got? Kind of went off in a little bit of a
yeah, we
tangent
did.
there.
I don't know if we have too much else because we are running out of time. So Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
Yes. So real quick, Jason Blum came out and said he wants to do some more horror movies, and in these, like, or at least out of video games. So, what do you think?
I did have so. Here's the thing: is like, so with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a very popular game. I know there's a lot of lore that goes into it that I am not aware of. But technically, that type of game has been done.
Yeah.
Like the movie, you got Willy's Wonderland by Nick Cage.
Yep.
Is basically essentially Five Nights at Freddy's. You can yell at me for it. That's fine. But I don't know of like any other game that can be adapted. I mean, the history is there. Like
Until Dawn
could
definitely become a franchise.
But I think Until Dawn could be a series. I don't think Until Dawn can be a movie. There's way too much content.
Make it a franchise. This is Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, it's not gonna be the first and only movie.
Probably not. Yeah.
They're gonna make multiple of these guys.
It depends on how it does, though.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know if Josh Hutcherson was the best person to get in as the
Also,
lead.
weird. Yeah, weird casting.
I'm just gonna keep yelling PETA. No,
yeah, to paint your face as a rock.
I don't think that was the best casting choice.
It was so weird. I mean, I don't know.
I don't take him seriously in like a screaming role. Like I can't do it.
I can't. I just recently watched Evil Dead, the original,
Yeah.
and now I like Bruce Campbell.
Have you seen the new one? It's on HBO.
We're working through it.
Gotcha. We actually saw Scream 2 last week, guys.
did.
I have that footage.
That
And
was
gotta
that
keep
was fun.
adding because tonight we're watching Scream 3.
Yeah, that was fun. Scream 3 was fun. I did like it.
You got one of the killers right.
I got one.
One.
I win.
We'll see if you do it again tonight.
But
Quickly
no,
Googles the killer.
I'm always so skeptical because, like, especially when it comes to games being adapted into games being adapted into horror movies, like live actions, it's always like weird.
Yeah.
Just games in general is just weird.
I mean, but then again, we're getting better at it because look at the new Avatar stuff coming out. The Avatar Last Airbender on Netflix. Like, those costumes look fucking dope.
Wait, which Avatar?
The new one that's coming out.
The Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was not based off of a game.
No, I know that. I'm saying that our live action adaptations have
Oh,
gotten progressively better.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know, like even just any of the video game adaptations. Because I think the reason Blumhouse or Jason Blum saying this because look at Mario. Like
Mario
video
did
game,
explode,
like,
but
they kept failing. I think they just needed one like success. They just needed one, just like with Marvel. Like you just need one
Mario did
to set off a franchise.
Mario did
and
do
Mario
really well.
has a franchise because
Yeah.
you have the Sonic movies already.
right,
That have
two of
also
them,
been
yeah.
doing well. That has a Knuckles spin-off show coming out, and
Right.
then also a Sonic 3,
But let's
which
keep in
could
mind.
easily.
But let's keep in
That's
mind.
Sega and Nintendo,
Both
but-
of those are animated.
Yeah. Well, no, Sonic is live action mostly.
Sonic is half and half. I don't count it.
Sonic is Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
You honestly, great movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's Space Jam. But regardless, it's there.
Looney
Which
Tunes back in action.
even though it's Sega and Nintendo, I still think like a super like with the talks of them doing a Super Smash Brothers, like we're gonna get these characters together.
Man, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, Looney Tunes back in action. Brendan Fraser. Speaking of.
Oh yes, last thing, Brendan Fraser was in talks apparently to play Jor-El in the new Superman movie.
Jor-El.
Superman's dad.
What the fuck?
Which doesn't mean
cool.
Doesn't mean he has to show up through all the movies. He just needs to really show up in one. But like, man, picking up from Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, the easiest way
Brendan Fraser's pretty good.
The easiest way they ever did Jor-El was in Smallville because they never showed Jor-El other than you only heard a voice the entire time. And when they finally showed him in physical form was when he visited Earth beforehand, and he was played by Tom Welling because the dad would look like his son.
Wait, hold on.
So they never showed a physical.
Where was Jor-El
like,
the entire
Jor-El.
time? It
was just a disembodied voice from like AI that was left in the cave.
No. Oh, I see.
But before, he was dead on Krypton.
Gotcha.
Always dies on Krypton.
Yeah,
that's always his MO.
That's every hero's.
But
MO.
where can they find you, bud?
Oh, you can find me at the Sphere 21 on any social media platform except for TikTok. I'm Oliver Kahn VA.
And you can find me at AMOR Photography. You can find the studio at Archangel Studios Official, and you can find this podcast, Nerd Locker Podcast, wherever you listen to them. We will see you guys next time. And remember, support your local Smuckers brand because you don't even know what you're paying for until you figure it out.
Yo, I completely forgot we had a Smuckers conversation.
Yeah, we did. We didn't even realize we've been giving them more money than we thought.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I could go for another. We're not sponsored, are
Bye,
we?
guys. No.
Okay, fuck. I don't want one.